Add three, no. Okay.
Okay, hey, hello. I thought we had 3 minutes. Okay.
That's three.
Oh, okay, it was 3 o'clock. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trail Talk. Boy, you caught us jabbering away here. So glad you could join us this afternoon. We are coming to you live from the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. And we're here in our classroom studio, and we have a familiar face and good friend of the Heritage Center with us, Cindy Parks. Cindy has, well, when you live in a town like Duncan, there's a good chance your life might crisscross in a lot of different planes.
Yes.
And ours has.
Yes.
And so it's just been a great thing having Cindy for a friend. The most fun part, I think, was working together here for like 5 years.
Yes.
And that was a really a joy. We had a lot of good times here, and just got to teach a lot of students a lot of great things about history and art and all that.
And I loved it too when you would come into my classroom and we kind of team teach together when I had your children. I loved that.
That was fun. I loved it. My pre-working at the Heritage Center days were spent going and volunteering. I had a lot of time. I was just very fortunate to be able to be a volunteer in the schools. And Cindy had this program she called CELL, C-E-L-L, just in case my accent made it sound like sales. And anyway, so two of my kiddos got to do that program. And when the days they were there, I got to go and help her. I learned so much about the content that you were teaching, but then just about teaching as well. And that was such fun for me.
Oh,
I just saw, I mean, because of the way the program was set up, Cindy could use kind of untraditional, non-traditional teaching methods.
right.
Like cooking or singing or really interesting art or games or just a lot of things that you can't always use in a classroom. And so that made it even more fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So we take a topic and then work in every single subject under that topic.
Yeah, memorizing the presidents in order.
Yeah.
There was a fun little device that you could use to help you memorize.
Oh, yes.
But I finally just had to memorize them straight. I just couldn't. Anyway, we are rambling. People, y'all didn't tune in to hear Cindy and I reminisce, but I was enjoying it. Cindy is our guest today because, well, she and I, for the last couple of years, have served on the committee that puts together the Duncan Area Arts Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And this is one of the fanciest, most entertaining nights of the year to me in Duncan.
Oh.
Wouldn't you agree?
That is an awesome thing to say. But yes, I think it's just marvelous.
It is. I mean, because there are so many performers or inductees who we get to see or hear a little of their talent, and just so much showcasing of the arts, and you can dress up really fancy if you want, and there aren't enough of those kinds of evenings.
Right. It's kind of like our little hometown Grammys or something.
Yes, that's what it is. And
You have speeches and you have presentations and you have entertainment.
yes.
And it's just really great.
It-
And I had some friends that came from out of town that had never been to one before, and they didn't know a soul there. Not a soul, because I know sometimes it's more entertaining when you know the people that are up there. And they knew no one, and they thought it was a terrific night
Oh,
of entertainment. They
that's-
loved it.
That's great.
They
That's
never
great.
got bored, nothing.
There you go. Well, that's probably my maybe fourth time to go out of
Five.
out of
Huh?
five.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fourth time to attend out of the 5 times it's happened. And I really thought that it seems like it's kind of hitting its stride. You know, as far as timing and
Yes.
flow
Yes, it
and
flowed really
and
well.
yeah, the entertainment, I just felt like it seems like it's hitting its stride now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's a great place to be. A
Yes.
very, and the attendance was fantastic
Yes.
as
it
well
was.
this year.
Ah,
It was
good.
really great. At the VIP tickets allow you to go to a kind of get reception and then a post reception.
Mhm.
And the previous, I could not believe how many people were at the early one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that made it a lot of fun too. And it's a fundraiser.
Yes.
The whole purpose for coming up with this idea
Mhm.
was I wasn't on the ground floor of all of that, but coming in later, it seems like the purpose of this event is to have a unique way to raise money for the Simmons Center Auditorium to keep that
Right.
going, because it's kind of a full circle thing because of all of the artists who use that
Right.
as a performing stage. And so we need to keep that auditorium
Mhm.
updated
Right.
and going strong. And so the Heritage Center, we started in 2023, we gave our first award as we weren't inducting anyone to the Hall of Fame, but we gave a
Arts
Chisholm Trail,
organization award,
an
yeah.
arts organization award. And we don't really use the Simmons Center auditorium, but when that is in great shape, it's a win for the whole community.
Yes.
And so we feel strongly about supporting it by being a presenting arts organization. So anyway, that's why the Heritage Center is involved, and it's just worth it. It's a great time.
It is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and so you might remember last year, Cindy and I think Gina came and you guys talked
Yes,
about
we did.
what was going to happen before the actual event. And so this year we're talking about it afterwards because it was so fun. I thought people didn't get to hear about all of the, fun things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is the cool little program, a little one propped up there. Yeah, Cindy brought hers, so we're going to use hers for information to kind of take us through the evening. But it is anyway, it's a star-studded event, and we're going to just kind of take off. Do you want to talk about how the arts organizations kind of fit in and do their presentation first? I mean, that
Sure.
kind of is the beginning of the
Mhm.
show, kind of
That's how
starts
we
with that.
started. And
Mhm.
so,
Although we did have that great barbershop.
yes.
What is that? what it is?
Southwest Pride Barbershop Chorus, I thought. here.
Chorus, yeah. It was a lot
Yeah,
more than a
Southwest Pride
quartet.
Barbershop Chorus. Yes.
It wasn't just 4 men, but
Yeah.
it was smooth.
Yes, it was smooth.
Their
And
voices.
they come from
were-
all around too. They're
Mhm.
not just all Duncanites.
Mhm.
And then we have Duncan Little Theater, because they use the theater for all of their plays, and they have been instrumental in utilizing that area.
Right.
And then, so also when you are in a play, lots of times you have to have those special microphones that go over your head, and
I can
and-
attest to that. You do. They tape it on your face for every practice and every performance. Yeah.
So all of that, just, keeping all of those up to date, takes money, because
Mhm.
those are expensive. And, so they, let's see, they presented their award, Christy,
No, it was, Teresa
Oh, it's
Blaylock.
Dave Young. Wait, no.
You
I
said, you
think-
said Open Little Theater, it was, Teresa Blaylock
Thank
and,
you.
Beth Cowan.
Thank you,
Yes,
yes.
they were the
Lisa
ones
Blaylock
who,
and Beth
got that one,
Cowan.
yeah.
They got that, yeah. And then, the Chisholm Trail Arts Council, they are also way into the arts, and they help organize the art that comes afterwards during the
Mhm.
reception and the pre-reception. They have a lot to do with that. And they have concerts that, you've always been very
Yes.
supportive for.
Kyle Dillingham
Yeah.
was Friday night. That was a good one. That was a fun concert. Goodness,
Oh,
it was so
good.
good.
I'm glad you
Yes.
enjoyed it. So they use theater a lot for their concerts, and they awarded Dave Young, the kite guy. that we-
Dave is
Yeah.
a friend of the Heritage Center. He's been here, he's been on Trail Talk and
Yeah.
did a kite making class at an event we had. Yeah,
Aw, I love
we
that guy.
love Dave.
He's wonderful. And then, of course, we had Heartbeat Dance,
Mm.
and they give an award because they're constantly using the theater for their dance recitals. And they awarded Christy Estep, and they gave a phenomenal
Oh,
dance routine.
it was something.
It was so great.
It really was, and I don't know
Cosmic theme.
how many girls are just in and out. How many?
About 80.
About
That's what I
80.
thought, 75 to 80.
Yeah, about 80 girls, probably from age 18 down to what, 4 or 5, something like that. I mean, there were some littles down there,
Yeah.
and boy, they were great fun to watch.
And they are all synchronized together. It is a top-notch show. It's
Mhm.
not like what you would think of when you go see kids
Kids.
perform,
That's
and
right.
they were better than some that I've seen on America's Got Talent. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yes.
they are phenomenal.
Yeah, that was very fun. So, I mean, already, right, you're thinking all of this, and that all happened in the first less than an hour. It
Right,
took us less than an hour to get
Right.
through all of
Mhm.
that.
yes, it was like
Um,
45 minutes.
Mhm.
And then the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center awarded George Rhodes, the
Yes.
poet.
Yes.
Really, really great poet.
Mhm.
Cowboy poetry.
Yes, and that was very sweet. I loved that he shared his inspiration was meeting a little girl here at the Heritage Center. And said, are you a cowboy? And he said, no, I'm not. And she said, my daddy's a cowboy. And he thought, that should be in a poem. And off he went and wrote 3 books of poetry. Such a great man.
And then we had a really special thing that happened. David Hooten had a trumpet that he played Amazing Grace on in the Vatican. And while he was there, the Pope visited with him, and he just had heard about tornadoes in Oklahoma. And because David had said that he was from Oklahoma, and the Pope had just heard about these devastating tornadoes, and so he blessed his trumpet, and he said, I want you to take this back to all the people in Oklahoma, let them know that I've blessed this trumpet. And so David decided, since we have the Hall of Fame now, he decided that this would be a great place to display the trumpet and donate it to our new trophy case. That
Yes.
sits in the hall. And
I mean, that it was like on a piece of fabric, like no hands are touching this thing.
right.
And yeah, and it's in this beautiful glass case. You could go in any day of the week,
Yeah.
on the north end of the Simmons Center and go in and see that trumpet. And
Yeah.
it's really,
Yeah, it's remarkable.
it is, and it was a really cool part of the evening for that
Yeah.
presentation to happen.
Yes. And then we had Glenda Cobb, who
Mhm.
was our guest artist,
Yes.
and she did a great painting,
Mhm.
and Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, that
remember
was,
who
and
won
that was a
it.
giveaway. That, it was, one of the inductees, relative
Okay.
of some, I can't remember who she was. She was but someone had said, yeah, she's, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's just a random drawing. If you have a
Yeah.
VIP ticket,
Yeah, you get to
you,
be in the
you get
drawing.
to be in the drawing. And, anyway, so she,
Mhm.
she won that. So that was a cool thing, a fun, and a nice way to, recognize a local artist.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
Glenda's very talented. I
Mhm.
keep trying to get her to be on Trail Talk. Glenda, I'm talking about you. Anyway, she hasn't agreed
fun,
just yet,
Glenda.
but yeah, but I'm slowly getting her convinced. So we'll see. But, I mean, her art has just taken off to me.
Yes.
She's really, really come into her own, and I'm really excited about.
Have
the
you
things
seen
she's
her
been
little
making.
greeting cards?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
they're wonderful.
that sounds, yeah, that's it. Call me. So anyway, so that was the first part. We had a nice little break time then, and then we came back, and the next part of the evening was all about inducting people into the Arts Hall of Fame,
Yes.
Duncan Area Arts
Yes.
Hall of Fame.
And we started off with Billy Joe Foster, who, he left home at a fairly young age. He was a teenager and ended up playing with some of the greats like Joe Diffie, who is also a Hall of Fame inductee.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's see, Bill Monroe and Ricky Skaggs. So he really had a great musical career. Then he kind of got tired of being on the road and came back home. And sadly, he passed away from MS and died at a young age. Or he would have even, you know,
Right.
no
Who
telling what
knows?
he may have been able to do. Because lots of times they'll take a break from being on the road and then they'll go back out and you know, play again with even bigger names. You never know. But he was a phenomenal fiddler, and he could play all kinds of instruments. And then we had Ben Harrington, who is, a lot of people just know him as a banker here in town.
True.
But he is also an outstanding artist. He sculpts and he paints and he does woodworking.
Well, people around here might also know him as the birdhouse
Yes.
guy.
Yes.
Because he became quite known for his
Yeah,
birdhouses.
And people would put them in their homes.
Because they're art.
They're too good to put outside for a real birdhouse.
For sure. They're
They're a
amazing.
piece of art. And if you want to check him out, he has some just phenomenal, very vibrant, colorful type of artwork out there online.
He was on Trail Talk a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And he was just getting started on the things he's doing now with the little paper cutouts.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's what he has a website and a Facebook page, and you can go online and you can order prints of the pieces he's done with the little paper thing, but it's on a beautiful canvas. I mean, it looks like a painting then at that point. Yeah, they're really nice.
Okay.
Really, and the prices are really affordable too. So look up Ben Harrington Art.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow him on Facebook, and sometimes there are even like little sale code things and stuff. Yeah, so it's fun to shop and see what all. And he was the guest artist who produced a piece that we gave away last year.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
23.
that's right. He was.
Yeah.
That was really nice too. I love that piece of artwork that he did. And then of course we had another inductee, David Pittman, the selection committee. Well, let me start this way. Anybody can nominate someone for the Hall of Fame, And then there is a nomination committee, and they narrow it down to 20. They send those 20 to the selection committee, and the selection committee can then choose anywhere between 4 and 8 inductees. So this year they chose 8. And the third one that was presented that night was David Pittman Jennings. And he is a baritone singer who sings opera all over the world.
Literally, he did not come, he couldn't
Yeah.
come, but his cousin came
Yes.
and, accepted and gave a
Mhm.
nice
Mhm.
acceptance speech on his behalf.
Yeah, he was sad he couldn't be there,
Mhm.
but we got to hear a little bit of an
Mm.
audio of him singing, and yeah, it was.
It was great,
incredible.
and I loved, he thanked by name, voice teachers, high
Mhm.
school
Yes.
band and, choral, choir, high school
Yeah.
choir teachers. I mean, he was naming all of these people who just poured into him and
Yeah.
helped him pursue
Right.
this dream.
There were several people that night
Mhm.
that thanked their teachers.
Mhm.
That was wonderful.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I just love that, the level of success and fame has not diminished where they realize where they started, you know,
Yeah.
that is
That's a good
still,
thought.
that's
I
still
like
very
that.
important to them.
Uh-huh.
So,
And as it should be.
yes.
What do they say? Never forget from where you came.
Yes. You want to say it. Someone might say where you came from.
And then we had Jimmy Zinn get inducted last year. So in honor of him, we had the Reflection Show Choir perform, and Kevin Zinn is the director of that. And so they came and they danced beautifully and sang beautifully. And then we had.
And Reflections is the high school show choir.
Yeah.
They compete and perform, and it's a long-standing tradition.
Right.
Reflections is, and it's an honor to make it.
Yes.
There are tryouts, and so at Duncan High School to say you're part of Reflections is kind of a fun thing to be able to say.
Right.
And so that we loved having Reflections
Yeah,
perform there.
yeah.
It made me think about when my
I
kid, I had
know,
two
me
of my kids were in Reflections, and it
Yeah.
was just really fun to see.
Mhm.
Because somehow the dresses and vests still look.
I know,
the
but
same.
they still look good.
Yeah. Oh, how they do
I
that.
don't either, but they do, they still look
Yeah,
good.
yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
all 3 of mine were in it too.
Mhm.
Have great memories of it. And then we had the inductee, Philip Perkins, and he is well known for his religious style of music, and he's written hundreds of compositions, and his music is known throughout the world as well. And what is so fascinating to me is that before we started the Hall of Fame, I had no idea of all of these people that
Mhm.
came from this area, and the gifts that they have brought to the world. And I just can't wait to see what more is out there.
Right.
Who else is out there, and what more is to come?
Oh, I
It's
know,
exciting.
it is impressive. There were a couple of
Yeah.
times, during this where I could tell that my mouth was hanging open a little bit because I was just taken in by the accolades being read
Yeah.
off, the accomplishments,
Yeah.
the honors. I was just blown away. I thought, who would have ever dreamed that?
Yeah.
And I love it that we are spending this time on this little night to focus
Mhm.
on that and to remind people,
Yes.
you know, there's a lot of talent that has been here that calls Duncan home or the area.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. And his, he grew up here in Duncan. His brother Keith
Yes.
is a name that you might know.
Mhm.
He's a
Is he-
realtor. Is that Keith?
Realtor.
Realtor,
Okay.
yes.
I didn't
I
know.
apologize for not knowing that for sure, but I wanted to be for sure. Yeah, so that's a name that a lot of people have heard
Right.
here in town, and, um,
And then we had Michael Harris, and a lot of people know Michael Harris. And one of the great contributions that he has given to the community is his graphic design work. And he is amazing at it, and he's so gracious with his time, and does things for DLT, he did this whole program. He does CTAX program, Central Arts Council, and just numerous things. He does things for the Health Foundation. And of
Right.
course, he's also our Santa Claus.
I was gonna say, if
He
you've seen
is-
Santa in the Christmas parade or had a picture, your child's picture taken with the Santa in a
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
Santa suit, that's Michael Harris who's doing that, and he's really great at that too. Not just every personality can be Santa,
Right.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty fortunate to have.
Mhm. In my mind, he is Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
He's that good.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, and then, we had the Duncan Little Theater, because you can not only nominate a person, you can also nominate an organization. And so, Duncan Little Theater was chosen to be, an organization to be inducted. And since it doesn't go to a single person, then they can maybe put it in their, place downtown in the window, the trophy.
Mhm,
Or they can put it in the trophy case at the Simmons Center.
mhm.
So I think right now that they're planning on putting it in the window downtown on Main Street. So that's
That
exciting.
is exciting. And we were looking at how long Duncan Little Theater has been an organization, and it seemed like we saw 1953 was
Mhm.
when they originally
Mhm.
started, and you know how things will ebb and
Right.
flow. It looked like maybe it fell off, and then in the 80s it picked back up
81, a
again.
rebirth, yeah.
And then since
93.
93, they have had, every year,
Mhm.
there has been a season of productions.
Right.
Every year.
Continual run,
Mhm.
which is really unusual for a town this size to be that successful in plays and to be able to survive, and they do it all without even an executive director.
Mhm.
Nobody in that whole organization gets paid, so
Right,
it's
yes, everyone's a
impressive what they
volunteer.
do.
Mhm. And they have like, including the children's theater, I think they do like 5 shows a year.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, and the next one coming up is the Addams Family.
Yes,
I can't wait to
yeah.
see
The
that.
last weekend of February and the first weekend of March, it's
Okay.
coming up fast.
I'm glad you knew that. I knew it was soon, but
Mhm.
I couldn't remember exactly
And
when.
in fact, they did the entertainment.
Yes.
The next entertainment.
Yes, they did.
And surprisingly, you guys, viewers, you may remember Michael Davison. He was our featured artist at the end of the year last year. And so we talked on Trail Talk. He has a role in the Addams Family.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he does.
Did you?
I do not.
Oh.
I don't sing and dance. I mean, I could dance. I do not sing. I do not sing.
bet you
No.
could.
Oh, no. Mm-mm. No, that is not something I can do. I can do a lot of other things, but not
Well,
sing.
you did an amazing job of acting.
Well,
when I
thank
saw you.
Thank you. Anyway, so if you follow us and you like Michael Davison, I think you'll enjoy him. I believe he is Lurch.
Oh, okay.
In
okay.
the production. So he was there that night doing the singing and dancing. with them on stage, so.
Not even realize
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he was there. He was there. He's hard to miss, you
Yeah.
know, he's this much taller than everybody else.
That's all.
Yeah, so anyway, it's bound to be a phenomenal show. It's gonna be
Oh,
a
yeah,
phenomenal show.
yeah. And then, let's see, we
We
had
had, yeah, do that
Danny
one.
Miller.
Mhm.
And Danny Miller, I had not heard of either. And then found out from Keith Woods that he had an amazing AVL audio business,
Mhm.
and that he travels around, his company travels around the United States, Canada, and Mexico, all North America. And they do the sound system they've done it for a president. They've
I was gonna
done it
say, yeah.
for Garth Brooks and Alabama and Bon Jovi. I mean, just
Yeah, names you might have heard
yeah,
of.
yeah. Tons of
I-
big time musical
This
groups.
was one where I was for sure. I just thought, I can't believe that this man and his family still live in Duncan,
Yeah,
or the Duncan area. But I mean, why not? You know, you can get anywhere from here. And what a wonderful, successful businessman he is.
Right. And he also plays the drums.
Yes, yeah. And,
loves
well,
playing.
I think he did a little gig with Summer Breeze. Wasn't that part of
Yes.
the presentation
Yeah.
story? Keith was presented it and told about that. But he also is very generous and donates a lot of his expertise to organizations that are like organizations that have used the Simmons Center here in town.
Yeah.
He has like dropped what he's doing. People have shared these stories. They just dropped what he was doing and came and
Yeah,
he was able to get things fixed up and going again. And
yeah.
I
I know he's
mean,
helped some churches too
Mhm.
with their sound system.
it's just what a blessing to our community to
Mhm.
have someone who's so successful and yet so generous.
Yeah,
I love that. I
right.
love that so much.
And I met him that night for the first time and he was just a sweetheart of a man. He
Mm.
was very gracious
Mhm. That
and
was,
grateful.
yes, yes. And then the final inductee that we're gonna talk about is ta-da, Miss Cindy right here. We almost had to twist Cindy's arm just to get her to agree to be a recipient of this great honor. No, I mean, it was, well, what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna interview the inductee because I think there are some things that we've talked about other people and just so, you know, how impressed we are with what they have done, what they have had to offer. So that should give you a little idea of, I think she's a little bit off there we go. An idea of, well, a similar kind of thing that Cindy has done for our community through the arts, through the years. You've had numerous opportunities through even working here,
Mhm.
to use your love and talent for
Mhm.
art, to teach and to serve the community.
Right.
And so it was beautifully, represented that night. And when you first heard that you were being inducted, what did you think?
Well, I didn't really believe it. I was like, will you say that again? Are you sure? And then it was kind of this overwhelming feeling and just super appreciative of Duncan, you know, just I don't know, it's hard for me to put it in words because you just do things because it's the right thing to do, or if I just feel like, well, as I mentioned, or I think Blake mentioned,
Blake, her son Blake was her presenter that night.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
he gave some really, so told some personal, that, for being the son,
Yeah.
from his
Yeah.
perspective, and it was sweet. It was very sweet. It was lovely.
Thank you. But he had mentioned that I had always wanted to try and incorporate art into my lessons. And the reason is because when you have art, lots of times it will make a child remember what they're supposed to remember if you do it in an art form. And I remember when I taught fourth grade, one of the things that we had to learn were all the parts of the flower. So we just took different colors of clay and molded the flower and labeled all the pieces. And it's science, but it's also art. And if you can get that in there, I just feel like they remember it so much better. And it just makes it more fun, to where they want to do it rather than a worksheet or
Or
whatever.
just rote memory,
Yeah.
which they will never be able to recall.
Yeah.
But, right.
And like when we were studying about the Civil War in South class, and we
Mhm.
reenacted pretty much reenacted the Civil War.
Yes, yes. The Pony Express. We did the
Yeah,
Pony
the Pony
Express too.
Express, yes. And so you kind of turn that into an art form, because in a way it was acting.
Mhm.
It was a play.
Mhm.
And so I just always had a passion for that. And I don't know if it stems from my own education, because my own education, I craved that.
Mm.
And the teachers didn't really do it until I got into the higher grades, like middle school and high school, and then they started branching out more. But in elementary school, there wasn't much of that, except, and we went to singing class every now and then.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So,
1 or 2 days a week, rotation, and yeah.
and then I got introduced into the Arts Council, and they just they needed all this stuff done.
Right.
And so I did a lot of that while I was still teaching. And then when I quit teaching for full time,
Mhm.
I was still teaching some here and still doing Art Smart, but I just kept getting more and more involved in doing more committees. And so my work really, I feel like I see it more as a recognition for my volunteer work,
Mhm.
even though I have done a couple of music type things. It is really more of a patron. And so that's why I was awarded the patron award.
Mhm. Right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
So, when to have Blake be there and present the award to you, did he put all the together? Did he write all of that?
we collaborated on it. He
Uh-huh.
kind of asked me some questions, and we sort of, went back and forth. And I'd say, why don't you change this? And then he'd say, why don't you change this? And so, it's a
Mhm.
collaboration.
Mhm.
I really, really was sad that my other two sons couldn't be there as well.
Right.
But that is the world of art, because
Mhm.
my oldest son, he had a gig, and it was a very important sold out gig. And so he didn't feel like he should get a sub. There are people that can play mandolin that he could have asked to take his place, but it was just too big of a gig. And
Right.
then my youngest son, Joel, he is working as a photographer on cruise ships, and there was just no way that he could get
Right.
off of a cruise and come right in the middle of a
Right,
cruise.
yeah, yeah, that logistically, not
Yeah.
good, yeah. Right, get a little boat with a little
Yeah.
outboard motor on it, yeah.
So that's the drawback to having an artistic sons is,
True.
it seems like a lot of weekends, almost every weekend. And of course, Joel he'll be gone for 6 months on cruises.
Right.
Yeah. makes
Wow.
it tricky.
It does. Well, it was just so, having the presenters, I love that. There's a personal touch. That's always so nice,
Yes.
for the inductees.
I
And,
like that too.
so, the next thing we had to twist her arm about was having her, and of course, when we first talked to her about it, we were thinking about all of the boys being here and Kenny,
Yeah.
because Cindy's husband Kenny is also very talented bass player and not bass guitar, but stand-up bass.
Yes.
And so anyway, talking them into closing out the evening with a performance. And which you did finally. It was a little begrudgingly at first, but she owned it. Absolutely, Cindy, you owned it. And
I kept thinking there has to be someone better.
what Cindy hasn't told you is she has recorded two, do you call them albums? Is
Yes.
that what people still call
Yes.
them? Okay.
Mhm.
Even though they're not really, are they on vinyl? Do you have any vinyl?
I do not have any vinyl, no.
Okay, all right, well,
I'm thinking about it.
oh, that would be so fun. We have a record player and we love to get vinyl
Oh.
records. We do, we love it. But anyways, she has released two albums and are they all original songs on both of them?
The guitar one is all original. The piano one is not. It has actually has a lot of originals of Sam's, my oldest son.
Oh, okay.
And he sent me the music of his songs he wrote, and then I learned them on piano.
And which I didn't even know she could play the piano. I knew she could play the guitar. And the piano music is beautiful on that album. Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
Nice, thank you.
It was. It was so great.
Thank you.
Kevin and I were listening and I said, is that Cindy playing the piano? He said, yes, it's Cindy. Yeah, and then who did the helped with the singing on the piano? Were there singing or was it,
Oh, you
Were
mean
there-
when I was doing the poetry?
yes, the poetry?
That was just me.
That was
Yeah.
just you,
Mhm,
okay,
yeah.
all right, I couldn't remember the,
Right,
but,
and I wrote those.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful listen, it really
Oh.
is, it's very,
It's a kind of album you want to listen to when you're like going down the road and you just want peaceful
it is, I
music.
was just saying, or just laying in your living room and you
Yeah.
just want to relax, and that music is very soothing, the poetry is as well, yeah.
Or maybe yoga.
Yeah, there you
And you
go.
can listen to them without the poetry too.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
some people prefer that.
So you performed an original song first
Yes.
That night.
Yes, but I
and
can love you.
I Can Love You, and that story, that music, that song was based on what inspired you to write that?
Well, the book, The Giving Tree, actually inspired me to write it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is the perspective from a tree.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't, it's almost better to not tell people because then they come up with their own interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people tell me that my mother was on her deathbed and she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, but she could still love me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just played that song over and over and it really helped me get through that.
Mm,
And then I
wow.
had another person tell me that it was when they had a baby. The baby couldn't talk or couldn't walk,
Mhm.
and but it was going to love them, you know,
Mhm.
love them back, and I
Well,
don't know. I've
that's
just
so
had
sweet.
different interpretations from people, and so sometimes it's best to not even
Mhm.
say what it's about.
Mhm. Well, it really is one of those songs, and it's kind of in my head. I'm there. Yeah, I can like
Yeah.
back up singing. But it's just it's a beautiful little
Oh,
song.
thank
It
you.
really is. So nice. I'm so glad that you chose that one. And then the next song, so one of the things Blake brought out was that while she was teaching, Cindy would encourage her students to come up with their own lyrics and put them to a familiar tune. And I remember when we did the big recycling
Yes.
thing in
Mhm.
Cell,
Mhm.
I don't remember how many verses there were to that song. We recorded it one day in the classroom. I'm gonna guess there were about 10, maybe.
Because every student wrote their own verse.
Yes.
There were a lot of verses.
Yes, and so it was really long, but everybody sang it. We
Yeah.
had all the words and all the kids. Anyway, so she took what Blake talked about, and you wrote lyrics to a familiar tune
Yeah.
about the Duncan Area Arts Hall of Fame, which was the perfect way to end the evening.
And you guys kept saying, or Gina especially, because I was just gonna do one song. And she said, no, you have to do two. Well, I couldn't really think of a second one I wanted to do, so I thought, well, I guess I'll just write one.
Well, she kind of said, I'll do what I had the kids
Yeah.
do or something, you know, I'll
I
think
give
of.
myself the assignment.
Yes, she gave herself the assignment. And I thought it was perfect.
Thank
mean, The poem you wrote about Jesse Chisholm that you used to
Oh,
recite here, or the little songs about riding up the Chisholm Trail, and I mean, we used to sing stuff like that. We don't have anybody around who does that kind of thing anymore.
Aw.
We're not songwriters. But you know, you have that in you, Cindy.
Yes.
That creativity is in you, and like any artist I've ever spoken to, you find a way to get that out.
Right.
And so you are a great storyteller through rhyme or song. You know, you do a great job. You tell the story, and it has a beat, it has a meter, and it makes it easy to remember and easy to recall and to recite and all of that. And so I just thought that it was perfect that you wrote that song about the Hall of Fame. It was just, I thought it was truly the perfect way for the night to end.
Well, you have all of that written in here, but I don't know that it really sinks in with people,
Mm-hmm.
that lots of times they might be more apt to comprehend it and retain it
Yes,
a
exactly.
little bit better
Uh-huh.
if they hear it in song
Mhm.
and just come to the realization, wow, that was a long time ago, 1983, when the
Right.
Simmons Center came about,
Mm-hmm.
and over 40 years later, here we are.
Right.
No
And
wonder we need to start purchasing some new lighting and sound equipment and seating and all of that. I mean, there's no wonder.
right, exactly. Technology has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Technology has changed and updated, and lighting
Right.
and sound and the visual part, you know, the things you see, you don't want that to be all shabby and
Right.
especially, I mean, it serves so many purposes in the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
And so it's important for us to keep that
Yeah.
looking great. And people have read and heard very dry explanations about the Hall of Fame. I mean, just the facts,
Yeah.
but to hear it in a song, a story, it made it into something even more special.
Well, thank you. I almost didn't do it because I was afraid it might be a little too corny.
Well, it was not.
Okay.
It was not at all. Not
Then it
a
worked
bit.
out. And
Yeah.
then I found out, I don't know, I was just a little bit nervous.
Sure.
And I was so ready to get off the stage. But I did not even realize that people were standing up.
Yeah.
And someone said, did you realize that you got a standing ovation? No, and I went back and looked at it, and I was in such a hurry to get off the stage. I ran into the curtain.
Yes, you did.
Blake's wife, she videotaped it for me,
Oh,
so
that's,
I watched it and we cracked up.
Oh.
That is hilarious.
well, Cindy, performing live like that is not your favorite thing to do. Is that fair?
Well, sometimes. It kind of depends on the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer watching my kids perform over me performing any
Right.
day.
Right.
But if this was your hometown
Right.
is hard to perform
Yeah.
for, because you know all those people. And you're just not sure how they're going to receive it.
Mhm.
And I'm not like, I'm not like a star singer or anything like that. I've never had lessons. I just sing because I love to sing.
Right.
And so, you just don't know if I'm somewhere else and I don't know a soul in the crowd and it's real low key and there's a lot of talking and that kind of thing, your background music, then I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So there's times when it doesn't bother me,
Mhm.
but I was pretty anxious about this one.
Well, I hope you feel like it was a great time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I want to encourage you guys, if you haven't attended, if you've had questions about it, please be watching. I mean, it won't happen again until the end of January.
January 25th.
January 25th of 2025.
Yes.
That'll be easy to remember.
Yeah, I didn't
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
It's the 25. I love that.
Uh-huh, yeah. So, you'll probably be seeing some catchy little, promotionals about that, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna be excited. We'll start all the planning and meeting in the end of summer. That's when we usually.
Yeah.
And, it'll be a great time. So please plan to join. Go to the Simmons Center. Understand what a wonderful venue we actually have here in town, and appreciate all that is provided there, and help us support that place and
keep nominating.
yes, keep nominating and supporting the arts in our community. We have so many great artists around with all types of talent. It's wonderful. So anyway, we'll see you back tomorrow. Mary and I are going to have just riveting is one of my favorite words to describe our teaching. A great informative lesson about the great state seal, like the great seal of the state of Oklahoma. That's how they say it. That's what it says on it. The great seal of the state of Oklahoma. Great information about it. Yeah, it'll be really a lot of good stuff. So anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and you ready to say happy trails? All right, see you then. Happy trails.